How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Higher Vibration. I am your host, Mike Booth. And I've got a special guest with me tonight, all the way live from Hawaii. We are via a phone call.
Hey, Mike. Hey, nice to be here. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on here.
Longtime friend, Aaron Kagan.
Yeah, for 20 years.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. Just living life day by day.
What's been going on with you? Anything good?
Well, I've just been kind of really trying to expand my knowledge and learn more about our monetary system. And the more I dig deeper and deeper, it's just so corrupt at the basis of it. And anybody that looks more in depth into it will feel the same way. And it's kind of disgusting me, like learning more and more, like even this week, like I'm just fed up. I don't even know about the presidential election.
Oh, man.
Like the only way we can do anything about anything is to vote. But like, it's just so bad.
It's so bad. So you saw you saw that, President Trump just got, or ex-President Trump just got, convicted 34 or 31?
No, 34.
34? Jeez.
34 felonies.
Anybody who believes that that's really what's going on, I've got a piece of property to sell you. That's all I'm saying. That is just...
All I know is I don't think that guy should represent the United States of America.
I don't think it's real. I think that this is just a way to shut him down, to be honest. I don't care if you like him or you don't like him. I think that this is a really scummy way to disqualify your opponent. Like,
well, I mean, it's not like he didn't do any scummy stuff.
I mean, there's hundreds of politicians that have done stuff like horrible stuff. Like, I get it.
Right before the election that he won.
But right before the election, they're going to go ahead and string him up in front of all the courts and try to get him,
No, I'm talking about the one he won. I'm talking about the one he won in 2016. This whole trial was about hush money payments that were made right before the election that he won to prevent this getting out there so he would win. And he did. That's messed up. That's corruption in itself.
There's a lot of corruption. So think of it this way. So think of it this way. There is a ton of corruption, especially on the Hill. Like, as far as, anybody that's out there in the political landscape, they're getting paid through PACs. Those PACs are like huge ways that they're just fraudulent money just floating around. None of those guys get in trouble. None of those guys go to jail. So then you have a bunch of people who are trafficking kids. There's horrible allegations of people doing drugs in the White House. There was one guy that did what was he? He was sleeping with his friend in the Oval Office chambers or something.
I don't know.
Oh man, it's getting bad.
I know they found drugs or something in the White House.
Yeah, nobody could identify who the coke belonged to.
Yeah, right.
I'm personally, I just find it funny. I'm like, if these people really believe that this guy is that dirty, that they want to give him 34 felonies right before an election and nobody smells something funny, it's a little sus. And I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, so. But I mean, if he did do it,
even if he did do it, you're talking about right before you're talking about right before a major election. You're going to put him through the ringer?
Better before than after. I mean, after he was
you're not wrong, but I mean, they had all this time to do this a long time ago. They had plenty of time. This isn't like something that just happened. Like you're talking about, this is like before he was elected the first time back in 2016.
Right before. It was right before in 2016.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now, dude, we're in 2024. Like, what are you talking about? That's a huge deal. That's a big gap. You had all this time to be able to prosecute him, but right before an election, that's when you prosecute?
Well, that's why they're able to prosecute. That's why they're able to prosecute. Yeah.
They could have did it at any time.
No, they would be misdemeanors otherwise. But because it's connected to the election, that's why they're able to prosecute it as felonies outside of the statute of limitations.
I'm not sure
because
on that
they're
one.
able. Yeah, because they're able to connect the hush money payments that were made to the election, which makes it a misdemeanor into a felony and able to be charged outside of the statute of limitations.
So
that's why it was charged so late.
I did an episode last night about authority, like what gives people the authority to do or to say whatever they want to. And there's a lot of misconceptions that happen where people believe that the government will say something just because it's acceptable for them to, like, people think that the government have the authority to do certain things. And when you're talking about a sitting president versus one that's retired president, you no longer have any of the none of the safety nets are still in place for a retired president. So he could have been charged anytime after he got done, but none of that ever came to light until now, right before an election. The issue that I have with that is that shows me that it wasn't a problem for him. Like, if he's so bad of a guy, they could have gave him a felony back then. But instead, they waited until he's going to elections.
The DA has been, working on this case for years.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So he could have taken him to trial back then and had it started back then.
True.
But instead, he waited until the election started kicking off and he started doing his campaign. That's when he wanted to take him to jail, or to take him to court. And personally, that seems to me to be a political hit. Like that's I'm going to smear your face on the cameras. Whether you're innocent or guilty, you're going to court right now, and that doesn't look good for somebody who's trying to basically be a political candidate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like I said, better the people know before than after.
I don't know, man. I'm honestly on the fence on this. Like, whether you love the guy or you hate the guy, I don't think that this was the correct way to do this, and I definitely don't think the timing is right. Like, I feel like what they did right now is definitely a political hit. This isn't like, oh, justice, yay, justice. Like, no, this is corruption right here, right now. This is a sitting president attacking another president with the tools that he has at hand. And whether you like it or not, this is like what makes us look like shit.
Well, the guy Bragg is for New York. It's not federal. This isn't one of the federal indictments.
Oh, this is definitely. Listen, Aaron, if you don't believe that this is like coming from the other sitting president right now, like I got some property I might want to sell you.
Well,
I got a bridge that you might want to buy.
Two state indictments, and then there are 2 federal indictments, which probably won't even be tried until after the election.
Which is exactly my point. Like if this was really about justice, they would have already did this a long time ago. But they're waiting for this to happen. Like they're waiting for, oh, if this one doesn't go well, we'll do the next one. If this one doesn't do good, we're going to do the next one. It's like,
well, no, it's Trump's team that.
Yeah, this is trumped up charges. That's what I'm saying. This is trumped up corruption, is what I'm hearing. But I'm a conspiracy theorist, so what do I know? You know, like, what are you thinking about the like the president that we have right now, though? Like, what is your political views on Biden?
Well, I mean, I voted for him. I'll say that.
Oof, rough.
In the past. I don't like the idea of kind of sending weapons to, kill people, but
I mean that's
still not on the top of my.
That's any president. That's the part that you don't like. Like that's the only part.
No, it's like, okay, there are a lot of issues that the American public don't like, and they like, and the Israel-Palestine issue is on the lower end of the priorities list, according to some polls.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say, how do I feel about our president, in what sense?
So as far as we have three choices right now as far as everything goes. And I'm not really a fan of, like, to be honest, it kind of ticks me off. I'm like, this is a great country and we have plenty of great people, like scientists, generals. We've got people from all walks of life that could fill this position quite easily. And we're choosing these three people to try to, like, I don't understand that part, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not a
political scientist.
Yeah, I'm not a politicist. So to me, I feel like I'm just a normal guy on the street. So from what I see, I watch the news very carefully because I don't believe half of the stuff that they say, and I believe even less of the stuff that they put out there. So when I see a story get blasted on TV or blasted into the news, I know that there's something else going on and they're trying to cover up some other thing. Like that's just.
Well, that's mostly true for mainstream media.
Yeah, period.
That's why independent news is important.
Has been taken over, yeah, absolutely. Which is why I'm trying to get my foot in the door right now, doing what I'm doing right now. But
Breaking Points is a really good podcast.
What's it called?
For independent news. Breaking Points.
Breaking Points?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Really good for independent news.
I like that. I've been on the fence whether or not I'm going to do political commentary where I'm like news, like just covering the news. I'm not really a fan of, like, I like the idea of having my own podcast where I can speak about whatever I want to speak about. I think that that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the idea of being able to have conversations with people all over the world. I think that that's awesome. Sense. I'm not such a big fan of like the agendas that people put forth. And right now you have like the industrial complex is like rolling. It's hardcore rolling and moving. And when I say that, I mean, if you look on every political front, there is a war just about to break off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say that when Trump was in office, those weren't a thing. So the machine itself is ran by certain people and certain groups. And I don't think that Trump was a part of their little group.
He was, though.
He wasn't, though. Like he really
He
wasn't
really
though.
was.
If he was, we would have seen a lot more wars. Like Trump didn't fight any wars. Like there was no
Know,
wars going.
he owns in Halliburton and other military industrial complex companies.
Yeah, that's
He
what I'm
owns
saying.
so
Like
much
even though he owns some of like the pieces of the board, like he's not using his pieces to push the board. Like chess happens to be one of my favorite analogies to put, right? Like that's, I love playing chess. So like if you are a person who has the board in front of them, like you have pieces. Let's say that you own a giant piece of a business that can be moved onto the field, right? And you don't move that piece, what does that say?
Mhm.
I mean, that's a big deal, Like he owns a part that he could go out and he could set precedents, but he didn't. He didn't choose to go to war. He didn't choose to do any of those things. He kind of made the whole first structure of like, I want to choose America first. So he started trying to fix the problems that he could here, which I found admirable. To be honest, at the beginning, I didn't like Trump. I was not a fan. And I was like, just some guy from TV. That's not going to be great. And I started doing research on him, and like to be honest, I couldn't find anything to hit the guy with. The guy seemed to be not attached to the table like I thought he was. So I don't know.
well, sorry to miss to tell you, but the guy is
He really isn't
he's
though.
he is very much so. Look up how much money he gets from lobbyists. Google it. Type it in.
I mean, I could look that up right now. Like
Yeah, check it out.
I promise
It's,
you that like if you look up lobbyists and who's getting the most from lobbyists, it's not going to be Trump. The dude's already a billionaire. What does he need the lobbyist for?
I'll
Let's
guarantee
see.
you, it'll be at the top of the list.
Let's see something here. Window capture. Cancel.
But that doesn't even matter.
But what do you think about the money, the monetary aspect of what's going on right now? Like we're
Well, I think they're
trillions of
robbing
dollars. We're
from.
trillions with a T of dollars in debt right now. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I think it's the only way the U.S. government can generate the money needed that they decide on through Congress, 6 trillion, 3 trillion, whatever. That's all fresh money being printed. So that's deflating the supply, or that's inflating the supply of U.S. dollars, therefore devaluing every U.S. dollar out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically the government stealing from the savers of U.S. dollars and giving it to the military industrial complex and other expenses the government has that are passed by Congress. So that's what each dollar bill represents. So when we print more of these dollar bills, it devalues all the existing dollar bills. So the person with the money in the bank saves, their buying power with that money is going to be lower than it was yesterday.
Hmm.
That's inflation. That's the one of two ways that a government can generate revenue. There's inflation of the money supply, and there's taxation, which, most people pay taxes by a certain date or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All that is government revenue, but that's one source of government revenue, and that can't afford to pay for everything that the government has agreed to pay for. So, in a sense, they need to print money out of thin air to make up the difference, and that steals from the poor, basically, when they do that. And they put all this new money into our existing system. And that's all money that people work to earn. They put their sweat in, sweat equity kind of to earn that money, and that's what the money represents. And when inflation happens, it devalues that, so it really steals the man hours that is put into that money. That's what this inflation steals.
Well, I just opened up this from what we were talking about just a second ago about which political party owns more PACs, basically. Democrat and liberal get 195, and I believe that is $1 billion, and Republican and conservatives get 157 billion. So significant boost to the Democratic and liberal.
Okay.
Yeah. So PACs wise.
Well, maybe that. I mean, I'm not sure on the stats about super PACs or anything.
Oh, that's what it's coming up as. Now those numbers could be fudged too. So I don't hold like a lot of sway on whatever I read on the internet. Just because I've seen it on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah, right.
It's very true. It's like I take everything with a grain of salt, but that is what it says on here. So
yeah.
But so let's go back to right now. They are locking people out of buying Bitcoin, correct?
Okay, so in a sense, because we're Americans and we live in America, we're not able to do the KYC process that is required by exchanges now because of the SEC and different legislators that have basically demanded all exchanges implement KYC, which is know your customer information. And us as Americans, we're not able to give the KYC information. So in a sense, we're not able to buy Bitcoin because of that. We're not able to access different exchanges because we're not able to give that KYC information. That's now, as of this year, just been required. And it's kind of messed up because if you think about it, they're basically pushing everyone to buy the ETF instead of buying actual Bitcoin. And that's corruption. That's unbelievable.
I mean, just about anything that's monetary right now seems to be corruption. Like, it doesn't feel like...
well, Bitcoin is the only thing that's not corrupt.
That wasn't corrupt, yeah.
It's uncorruptible.
As far
actual Bitcoin is uncorruptible.
Well, here's my reasoning behind I don't know if that's 100% true. So, one, we don't know who Satoshi is. Well, there's some people who believe that he could be a plant and that the whole thing itself could be an issue. So as far as that starting out, if the code is corruptible, which means that if I could take the code, because I know it's a blockchain, right? And the blockchain has to read what every other thing reads. But I know but if, let's say, if there's a way to manipulate the blockchain that we don't know about, that could be an issue, right?
But there's not, because the blockchain is in consensus of millions of miners all around the world.
Right. And I understand I understand that part. What I'm talking about is the missing bitcoins that make up the denominations for it to be what it is, right? Do you see what I'm
What do
saying?
you mean?
So like, okay, so Bitcoin is only based off of the ledgers between the people. So the reason why it gains its value is because of the scarcity of it, right?
Yeah, but that ledger is constantly updated by all the miners.
Yeah, but see,
So it's
like you're
always
missing what I'm saying.
consistent.
So like the scarcity of it is non-legible because you'll never know what the scarcity of it is. So like if it reads out there's only this many Bitcoin, right? And let's
Yeah,
say
like there's 19.7 right now.
19 point
19.7 million
90.7.
that is available. 19.7 million Bitcoin that are out on the open market or in self custody,
Okay, so
cold storage,
19.7 billion
or
are in open market right now for people to be able to buy
or
or purchase or
or
do something with. But
yeah, available to do something with versus the cap of 21 million, which will be reached in 140 years.
which is kind of like what I'm saying. So the numbers are probably fudged quite a bit on certain ones that are available. You got to take into consideration some of the bitcoins that have been lost. Like you remember me myself, I lost 3. So
Yeah,
there's 3 bitcoins gone right there in existence that'll never
right.
be
But
back.
that's part of the 19.7.
Which is what I'm saying, but I'm just one person. So like there's tons of people out
Yeah,
there. So those
they say that there's like between 7 and 9 million bitcoins that are lost
which is
and that are never going to be recovered.
which is kind of my issue because like okay, so you have a numbers game of basically digital currency that is not easily being able you can't really track it, but yet you're supposed to be able to. That's kind of like where I get weirded out by it. I don't really know enough about it to say like whether it's a good investment or a bad investment. I mean, it seems to be a really good investment because it's up to what is it like 30,000 for a Bitcoin or something?
No, dude, it passed its all time high. It's right now it's at 69,000.
69,000 for one Bitcoin. See,
Yeah.
that's really good. So it apparently it's a good market and people like it, but it's like how do you use it in terms of like I want to go to the store and go buy a gallon of milk. How do I use my Bitcoin to do that?
Okay. So, okay, certain exchanges
Mm-hmm.
now it's totally different because of the whole America KYC thing. I don't even know what's going on now, like with the exchange and using their credit card, where you could load your Bitcoin onto it and then use that as a debit card. So that initially, that's how someone would go to a store and be able to use their Bitcoin. But now that the exchanges are all messed up,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would be accessible. So you would basically have to find a store that accepts Bitcoin, or you would have to find an exchange that is accessible to you, which is difficult being in America.
Yeah.
It's really messed up now. Like, it's really depressing and upsetting for me because I just found Bitcoin a couple years ago and I just like felt like it's my new life purpose, and now I just feel so deflated by the laws and the corruption. And I mean, the law is the law of the land,
Yeah,
but
for a
like
while there It was a really big deal where it was incorruptible. I remember hearing some things on that, but then it just seemed like all things, power corrupts absolutely. So it's kind
Well,
of
that's the
difficult
thing.
to hold.
It is incorruptible, and that's why the government and the
Wants to
banking
corrupt it.
system is afraid.
Hmm.
They needed to create an ETF so they can control, basically, like, with self custody Bitcoin, the government has absolutely no control. With these ETFs, they actually do have some control because the people own these ETFs in their trading accounts. It's not like they can use the technology of Bitcoin, with these ETFs.
Yeah.
So that's what the government has done. And they made it so these ETFs have to be settled in cash. So it goes right back into the banking system. That is the antithesis of Bitcoin itself.
So when a person uses a Bitcoin, they can actually just transfer whatever's on their Bitcoin straight to their debit card
Before
before the
before these
weird
laws,
things that they had. Yeah.
I'm locked out of my crypto.com account currently.
That doesn't make any
I,
sense.
I
So
can't even access.
so right
I
now,
can't.
all of your money that you would have in Bitcoin, like let's say that you owned a Bitcoin, like or more, you can't even access it right now.
Well, that's why self custody is so important. If I left it on crypto.com, yeah, I wouldn't be able to access it. But, people can, because Bitcoin is what it is,
Hmm.
they can take control of their own money and they don't have to rely on third parties
That's kind of
like
scary
an.
in a weird way.
Why is
That's
that?
well, I mean, just the fact that if you had that much money pressed up into Bitcoin and you can't access it, that's kind of scary. Do you
Yeah, if
do
you use
any
a third
diversifies?
party, that's why it's important to withdraw and put it to self custody
Hmm.
or cold storage, like people say. So,
What is cold
that's
storage?
why they say not your keys, not your coins.
Not your teas, not your coins.
Yeah, that means leaving it on the exchange. It's not really your Bitcoin because say they go out of business like that FTX did and close down, then you can't get your Bitcoin
Hmm.
because it's not in your custody. It's not in self custody, being custodied by the exchange.
Hmm.
So just leaving it on the exchange is a bad idea.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
But
So right now,
controlling,
any of the people that have it on the exchange, can they do anything with their coins?
I mean,
Like, can they
as
sell them
far
for
as
a
I
lower
know,
per like
I live in Hawaii. I don't talk to very many people. I just hear the news and see what is going on. And
hmm,
I'm locked out of my account,
that's rough.
and I'm hearing Americans can't do the KYC process, so therefore they're locked out of exchanges.
Hmm.
So I don't even know what's really going on, but all I know is it's messed up.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
It's the banking system getting so scared they got to pull any stop they can to try and hinder Bitcoin. But in the end, it'll fail because Bitcoin is an organism that's only getting stronger and stronger worldwide, not even in the United States,
What was
but worldwide.
what was the source of the law? Like, why are they trying to basically start this? I get that they are scared of it, but
Well,
what is the what is the site that they're trying to basically prevent people from using?
Anti-money laundering.
Anti-money laundering? Okay.
Right. So
that's what
they're
people are doing.
saying basically this KYC process that's everywhere in the world now, basically. A lot of exchanges are requiring KYC, but in America, we just can't. We can't do the process. Like it involves taking a picture of your ID and whatever, some other information like your social and all that stuff.
So,
but we can't do it in America for some reason.
So I'm kind of curious because here recently I have gotten into like coin collecting.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that that is the biggest money laundering scheme that I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. PCGS, which is like one of the main coin grading companies.
Yeah.
They are absolutely corrupt. Like it is ridiculous. I don't want to like, I'm not going to like, if you're watching PCGS, which, little channel, I doubt they are, but I'm just going to say that it seems pretty corrupt to me. I sent a set of coins out there to PCGS for them to grade. They opened them up there, a full set of coins, and they graded all of them perfect 70s, right? And one coin in particular, the one that would have been worth the most money out of the coins, got graded a 69. So, yeah, it seemed really weird because they were all sealed in a package. PCGS themselves is the ones that opened said package. They were all together. You graded a perfect 70 on all of them except for the one that was worth the money, which seemed weird to me. So I called them, and it took them 6 months to send it back because it was during the COVID thing and everything.
Wow.
I called them back and I said, why did you grade this one a 69? Can you tell me what is the issue with the coin? Like, can you show me the problem with it? And they said that there was a surface scratch somewhere on the coin. And I said, so, okay, you take pictures of the coins, correct? And they're like, yeah. So when we send them back to you, you can look at them and they're registered now. And they have a registry picture now associated with that coin. And I was like, okay, so if I look on this coin, I should see the surface scratches you're talking about, right? And they said yes. And I said, okay. So I look on there, there's no surface scratches. So I'm like, okay, I don't see the surface scratches. So I had to call them back. This is a whole nother conversation now, right? And I said, I don't see the surface scratches. You guys are better at it than I am, but can you guys pinpoint the surface scratches and maybe like show me, like, with like a highlighter or something on the picture so I can look into that part? They couldn't find it. They couldn't show me. They said there's no way that we can do that. We don't have the technology to circle or highlight. And I'm like, okay, that seems a little sus right there. But then I said, can I speak to a manager then? And they said, yeah, sure. So they put me on hold for a couple hours. I finally, and when I say a couple hours, I'm not joking. It was a couple hours. Yeah. So I finally get in touch with this woman who is the main person there. And she breaks it down for me. She said, yeah, we marked that down. And I didn't have a recorder going, and I wish I did because this right now is basically hearsay. But I promise you what I'm saying is verbatim what she said to me. She said, if you send it back, there is a possibility that we can go up to 70. And I said, why would it change from a 69 to a 70? What would make that any different? And she said, sometimes the graders could get it wrong. And I was like, okay, so it's a group of people who just agree to agree or agree to disagree that this coin is worth said money. And she said, yes, that is correct. I said, okay, is there a service that I can send it to you to get it cleaned, right? Like, or the surface scratch removed in any kind of way to where it'll grade a 70. And she said, No. She said, yes, there is a service that they can do where they kind of clean a coin, but it's not really cleaning the coin. It's some weird thing that they do. But she basically said, if you send it back in, and it may take a couple of times, that you could probably get the grade 70 that you're looking for. The issue with this is that it costs a lot of money to send in a coin to PCGS. So she basically just told me that my coin that I had is not worth the big boy money, but it could be if I just keep sending it back to them. And which made me laugh because, you know, it showed me that PCGS was doing money laundering because their coin in specifics that they can say, okay, this coin that we have is worth this set amount of money, which is the big boy money.
Yeah.
But you'll never have that coin because yours will have this surface scratch that is unseen and that nobody can prove it on. You know what I mean? So like, it's just this crappy way of them saying that like whatever they do, they can. Two people from PCGS can send 2 pennies to each other and say that this penny is worth $7 million. Let's not get exaggerated. Let's say that they'll say it's worth $1 million, right? And this is a penny. They can realistically say that their penny is worth it because it's an error coin and it has this da 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 da, and you'll never have this because your coin will never have the da 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 da.
Yeah, I got it.
It's super scummy. That's so scummy. And I'm like, okay, so I was like, is there a machine that I can just have it verified through another service? And they said no. Like basically anywhere you go, you're basically getting it graded by a person, and a person is fallible. A person could have a bad day today. They could come in and just be angry and be like, you know what, this is a pretty coin, but I don't like it. So I'm just going to give them a grade of a 69 and you're never going to make the big money. And which like, this is another thing. They do this weird thing where it's like, okay, if you own a coin shop and you send in a lot of coins through your coin shop, they might give you a higher grade than they would a normal person who only sends in one. And I think that that's kind of personally, I find that kind of scummy. I don't know. I just money laundering in any kind of circumstance, I think, is kind of scummy. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I feel like that it defeated a normal person who just happens to like have a coin collection. Like you're screwed. You have no. You don't have a leg to stand on. You could be like, I have been doing research on this for the last like 7 years now. And I have been a member of PCGS for like 3.5 years, almost 4 years.
Okay.
And like I said, I've learned a lot. And even in my little bit of time that I have been learning, I don't know shit. That's how much it goes into it, and you'll never be able to just look at your coins and know exactly what it is. You'll miss error coins, you'll miss double die reverses, oblongs, like these weird ejection molding. You know, there's just so much stuff that you could miss. You'll never know what it is. So I kind of wonder if Bitcoin has the same similar tendency. Like, is there any way that money laundering can happen through Bitcoin that's like I give you 1 Bitcoin for said, you know, thing, like I want to buy 1 tomato plant from you for this Bitcoin.
Well, what in that sense, what's the difference between buying a piece of fine art?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so can a person just say, hey, like I have said, like, let's say I painted this amazing thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a painting, but I mean, it's like mine. Yep. I painted it. And I want to sell it to you for 1 Bitcoin. Like,
yep.
So basically you'll give me $60,000 for said painting.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. That's totally, that's completely, I can see why they're wanting to shut it down. Yeah, I can see why they're wanting to shut that down.
one Bitcoin will always be worth one Bitcoin.
That's scary.
Or 100 million Satoshis.
See, so that's like an invisible handshake, basically. So,
well, the whole thing about Bitcoin is trust or verify, don't trust.
Verify, don't trust. But I mean,
yeah, verify.
Isn't that like, I mean, technically, isn't that just a big, like, invisible handshake? So we're basically just saying that this is worth what we're saying, but it's like basically like we make up the price. Like, what makes the price $60,000?
The market, the free market, the people buying Bitcoin and selling Bitcoin determine the price. If there are more buyers than sellers, the price will go up to encourage more sellers. If there are more sellers than buyers, price will go down to encourage more people to buy. So it's all the free market at work. And Bitcoin being the only fixed supply asset that has ever been created, that's the reason it will eventually one day be $1 million a coin.
You think it'll be a $1 million coin?
Eventually, at some point in time.
So one not Bitcoin, $1 million.
Years from now, not saying 10 years from now, but at some point in time, because of the code and the halving events that are in the Bitcoin code, so they can't be changed, can't be modified. They are going to happen every 4 years. The last one just happened a couple months ago. And Bitcoin went from 40,000 to 79 to 70,000.
That's insanity. So, okay, so if a person orchestrates the market for it to be a higher price, what
well, that's whales. That's called whale influence. That's like large buyers or large sellers doing that activity to specifically influence the market. It was a lot more common when Bitcoin was a lot lower in price, but now because it's so high, it's hard. But there are still whales that do their thing. I mean,
so that's a weird way of basically manipulating the markets,
kind of, but it's not controlled. It's not a centralized party saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this and do that," and then when the price goes down, I'm going to buy it all back, which is basically what they do. But that's everywhere. Equity markets, they do that too.
Yeah, makes sense. So I feel like there should be something for this. Like, this shouldn't be that that simple for them to just basically take. Now, I can see why they're trying to block this. This seems kind of sketch to me. That's kind of weird.
Well, it removes all power from the banks.
From the banks, yeah. I could see how that.
Yeah,
that's
that's what they're afraid of.
I mean, they've killed presidents for that, so I'm on the fence on that one, man. That's some scary stuff. I feel like money laundering in itself is just crazy stuff. Like,
yeah,
that's above my pay grade. Like,
I mean,
anything that goes above gold, like if this is like so new compared to gold, and it's already higher than gold is. Like, that's insane to me. Like, there's something wrong there. Physically,
well, it's all about the market cap.
But I mean,
it's because of the known available
there is
supply.
The same thing in gold, though. Gold has its own market cap. Like, there's only so much gold you can mine. Like,
yeah, there's more being mined every year.
Not by much, though, but like a significant like decrease happens 2%. Because you can't 2%. Like, you can't mine more than what's available in resource, right? Like, so
as long as the price keeps going up, they'll mine as much as they possibly can.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't mine more than what's resource available. Like, there's only a finite amount of gold in the world. Like,
yeah, that's for gold, right? For Bitcoin, it works totally differently. There's
so
not
weird.
a limited supply of resource. It's a competition between all the miners throughout the world every 10 minutes to get rewarded $300,000 worth of Bitcoin. The competition that all these miners are competing, and at random, every 10 minutes, the miner that finds the block every 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
gets rewarded now 3.125 Bitcoin, which it just got halved. So it used to be over 6 Bitcoin got
God.
rewarded.
So every 10 minutes you said that they do this?
Yeah.
Every 10
Yeah.
minutes.
And that's the Bitcoin blockchain. That's
I
the
don't
whole
understand how that
basis of
works.
that's the basis of the blockchain.
I don't understand how that works. So how are they able to give away free Bitcoins when it's a locked system? Like, you're not supposed to be able to make more of these things, right?
Those rules of Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
are in consensus for every miner in the world. They all agree on all the rules of Bitcoin, and that includes the reward that's given to the miners for finding a block. That reward is halved every 4 years. So since the beginning of Bitcoin, it started at 50 Bitcoin per block. Then it got cut to 25. Then it got cut to 12.5. Then it got cut to 6.25. Now it's 3.125. So in 4 years, it'll be 1 Bitcoin per block.
Yeah, that's what I
And
was
what
wondering.
that does is increase the scarcity of Bitcoin,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the properties of money. Money has to be scarce to be valuable. That's why inflating the money supply reduces the scarcity of U.S. dollars.
So it's kind of
And
like what we're doing. That's kind of like what's going on right now with the dollar bill. It's just kind of being inflated
exactly.
like a tire.
But Bitcoin, that inflation rate is in code. It's known and agreed on by all the miners. So every 10 minutes, 3.125 Bitcoin are rewarded randomly to a miner throughout the world.
So let me ask you a question. Is there a coin that's based off of the government?
That's called a central bank digital currency. And in America, no, but certain countries are trying it out. And it's basically like a tool of surveillance for governments. And like China uses a CBDC.
Yeah, they also have a credit score, like as far as like what you do for your country type of deal. And that scares me because yeah, that's terrifying because that just means like if you have like, let's say you want to say something political, like today we just had this cool conversation between me and you, like you represent Biden, I represented Trump right now. We don't necessarily represent them, but
I would say Kennedy.
Yeah, same. But let's just say for argument's sake, we just had a conversation about these two people, and there was no drama. There was no like, you know what I mean? Like it was a good, healthy conversation about the two political parties, and I think that that's what it needs to be. But over in China, if you do that, you could like, so for me, let's say because I said Trump, they could take my social score and take away some of my money just because I said a political rival that wasn't
I mean,
liked, or I
I'm not
guess.
sure how the system works,
It's pretty brutal.
but it
That's pretty brutal, man. Like I don't
sounds
know. It's pretty awful.
kind of, yeah,
I mean, it kind of, I don't know. You can kind of see why people are kind of running away from that country and kind of like just jumping over here. It's kind of,
yeah, for sure.
it's weird. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm expecting the worst. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I want there to be a tomorrow. Like,
Well, it's like, we can either have a future of abundance
mm-hmm.
and working together, or a Mad Max future, which is what's going on in Ukraine and
I mean,
Gaza right now.
we'll just say
It's
that
like the Mad Max version.
nobody wants a Mad Max future. Like, that's just,
Well,
that's
that's
awful.
what's happening right now in
Yeah,
those
it is.
places.
It is. It absolutely is.
That's what those people are living through.
I
And
had
it can happen.
I had my buddy on here. He is studying to be a rabbi, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but he's converting to become Jewish, and it's awesome watching how much dedication he's putting into that. And I don't know enough about like you were born Jewish, so you just like,
Right.
did you have to study to get to like understand the Torah and all that stuff?
Well, you're supposed to, but
He said, well, you're supposed to. I mean, how much studying did you do for
me being in Hawaii? I wasn't really raised culturally Jewish.
Mm.
I just am familially, like,
Yeah.
my dad and my mom and my great grandma. So I'm Jewish. I mean, I guess by blood I'm Hebrew.
That's cool. Like, does anybody of your family ever like can you get advice from anybody that's like in the, like, do you guys go to, what do they call the churches there that are Jewish, like the synagogues?
Synagogues.
Yeah.
Synagogues. No, I've never been to one. I mean, when I went to a friend's bar mitzvah, I went to one, but
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, Brian,
I
Zion
could have been bar, but I wasn't.
His name is Zion Barlev, and yeah, he's going through the process right now, and he's amazing. Like, if you hear him talk, he knows his stuff, man. Like, he is really going to be a good rabbi one day. I can tell. Like, he's going full in.
Cool.
Yeah. He has been on the podcast a couple, like he did one episode here recently, and then he did another episode before this, but it was on the just audio side of it, not with the video. But yeah, it was a really good episode. We talked about,
yeah, well, hopefully we'll have more to talk about. Hopefully the U.S. improves its stance on Bitcoin, and
you're going to be my money guy.
Trump just came out and said, "Oh, Bitcoin's good for the country," trying to pander to the Bitcoiners.
He said that it was good for the country?
Yesterday, yeah.
That's cool.
Right before he got all these felonies.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that, like, again, I'm going to side for Trump here, because it's like, okay, so if you have a felony, that means that you're not bought by the corporations. Like, because I feel like everybody that's in politics puts on this fake face where they know that it's a political, it's like a political, you have to be a certain way. Like, you can't be yourself. Like, you have to put on the fake face. You got to go out in front of these people. Oh, yes, I believe that it's this and this. And it's like, but when
that's true.
Yeah, but when you get home, you're like, shit, this was some bullshit, and you're cussing. And
right.
It's like, dude, just be that guy. Like, I don't understand like me myself, I do it all the time. Like I feel like if I'm out in public, I'm not going to start cussing around a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean? Like, so I can get it.
Yeah.
I understand that there is times when you want to say something, you kind of don't. And when there's times when you don't, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, but that's a hard one, man. I really just don't like fake politicians. Like, politics just seems so weird. I'm so glad I'm not in it.
Yeah.
It's one of those jobs that I
Yeah.
just.
Maybe one day in the future I will be a politician. Who knows?
That'd be cool. I could actually see you getting, like, endorsed into
Yeah, I
some.
mean, it would be cool, but can't use my hands or legs, so there's kind of an issue there.
I mean, like I said, there's ways around that, and plus,
Yeah, there probably
Elon is working on that right now. I think
is. Yeah.
he's the greatest mind of our generation. So I would like to
Yeah.
see some of the things that he can do. To be honest, like I like Elon a lot, and like all the things that he's doing as far as like being a billionaire. Like it seems like he's the people's billionaire, I guess is what I would
Oh,
call it. I don't know how you feel about Elon, but I think he's
well, I used to work for him.
You used to work for him?
Yeah, for Solar City like 8 years ago.
That's cool.
Before Tesla bought him.
I was gonna say, what's your take on what's happening with the? You heard about all the attacks that's going on for the Cyberlink or whatever the
Cybertruck?
No, the Starlink system keeps getting.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, dude, it got shut down or something.
What?
In the latest news. Let me look that up right now. I'll see if it's still.
Oh.
If it's still locked down. Let's see.
Yeah, but I think Elon's a great guy.
Yeah, I think he's awesome,
Got
man.
a great mind, and he seems to want to perpetuate humanity. I mean, he's got 10 kids.
yeah. That's a fact. That is a fact.
Pretty cool.
Let's see.
He's definitely doing his part.
So it's saying something about there was an update and there's crashes. It's freezing. I'm not really seeing anything on the attack of it, but maybe they probably wouldn't put that out.
Maybe. Yeah, I know Starlink's been really helpful in Ukraine and I guess in the wars and such.
Oh, I put Cyberlink. Hold on. That might be the issue. Starlink is what it's called, right? They're trying to know where I'm at right now. They're like, may we use your location? Like, no, you may not. I'm locked in a basement somewhere. What caused the Starlink outage? Starlink suffered a similar hour-long outage back in September. That's not it. The company was hit by a global multi-hour outage, which it blamed on expired security certificates. Yay, that's fun.
Well, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Right here it says 2 days ago, Starlink is currently in a network outage and we are actively implementing a solution.
Sheesh.
See, so they're not saying something. Something's not adding up right there. So
is it off right now or is it on?
It's off right now. That was 2 days ago. So
and it's still off.
I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
It says, yes, Starlink went down for me the same exact time, 9:29 p.m. Central Virginia.
Wow.
Reported maps. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Hmm. All I know is that it went down, and that's enough for it to be an issue, right? Like,
Right.
I know that at some point they were trying to say that it was uh they were trying to say that it was being used by like Russians or something like that on the
Oh,
battlefield, but but Elon, I guess, tweeted out and said that that was not possible because they can shut it down from anywhere on
oh,
locational based. So
I
there's,
see.
yeah, he's like, there's nothing being used right there. Like it's not a real thing. So somebody was just trolling. Like in this day and age,
Yeah.
man, it's so hard to tell what's accurate and what's not because of that. Like
Yep.
it's so
Yep.
stupid. It's like half of the stuff these people really believe. They believe anything that you put in front of them at this day and age. It sucks.
Mm.
Uh, I seen something in the news. Uh, what was it? It was something about. It wasn't Trump, but it was
P Diddy? No.
that story's just been awful lately.
Yeah.
No, that's not the one. But yeah, that one's Jesus Christ. Like these people are ridiculous, man. I don't understand how they're not buried under a jail somewhere, or
Jeez.
I don't know. But I mean, to be honest, the politicians are worse than P Diddy, so
Yeah. Well,
nobody's gonna get to them. They're only gonna blame P Diddy. Like
talk about a freaking
that's corruption right
case.
there.
Yeah. Well, jeez.
Yeah. I think, I mean, to be honest, they all should be locked up, but I'm not going to judge anybody by what, by what the media says, at least.
Yeah.
Like, if they find something on them, by all means, lock their asses up. But if it's just the media talking, I'm like, I'm not buying anything
Well,
into.
I mean, P Diddy's kind of a different story
I mean, like,
because the videotape and all that.
they haven't really, like, okay, so they've shown a few videotapes that kind of seem like there's something there, but that's not really proof. I've seen a lot of like celebrity witnesses that say stuff, but they weren't actually in the rooms. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like pretty much
But
it's
this was a hotel videotape.
right now it's just basically 50 Cent just kind of snitching on everybody about everything. So I don't know what I
What?
believe on that. I'm like, I'm not buying anything until I see some proof on everything. And it's like, if you have proof on everything, then you were in the room too. So it's like, why do you have proof? And if you do have
No,
proof, like, you should
I thought a hotel videotape came out. A hotel security tape, and
of,
it showed him beating the shit out of her.
I mean, if him like fighting somebody, that doesn't really prove that he's like, into weird stuff. Like,
No, his girlfriend.
oh, he's like beating up his girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, okay, that makes him a woman beater. That definitely makes him violent, but I don't know if that classifies you as a pedo. Like,
No, no, no. It's about being a woman.
yeah, no, that's not what's P. Diddy's in the news for right now. P. Diddy's in the news right now because he's like a diddler. He's like,
What?
yeah, dude, like it's a totally different. Like, yeah, no, it's way worse, way worse. Now they're trying to
It was
say,
because he beat up his old girlfriend.
yeah, no, it's not just for beating up his old girlfriend. It's gotten bad. So like now it's even to the point where like other celebrities are getting blamed into it too. Like
But
now they're saying like Will Smith. I know I seen something. The one that I was talking about earlier was Robert De Niro. That was the person that I seen something on the news about him. But I even then I'm like, I don't know. Like I can't really just believe everything I read. Like I take everything
yeah,
with a grain of salt because I like Robert De Niro. I always thought he was a good actor, but
yeah.
I don't know him in his off days. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what he's doing when he's not on set. So I know that, there's a lot of actors doing a lot of weird stuff right now, so they're really in the news. I don't know. It's a weird one. Corruption goes hand in hand with that stuff. It's like if the money laundering thing that we were talking about, I think goes really big in like movie premieres and things like that. Because
I mean, there's definitely a lot of money flowing through Hollywood.
Yeah, tons, and it's like it kind of makes me wonder if that's another form of money laundering that kind of goes through that. But it's like we'll make a movie, it'll be a shit movie, nobody will watch it, it'll go straight to DVD.
Yeah, there's got to be aspects.
Yeah, but it's like I'll sell it for $1 million. You know what I mean? Like it's like a shit movie, but it's like our way of like laundering $1 million or something.
Yeah, right.
So like we might not make any money off the movie, but we moved $1 million. You know what I mean? Like it's
it's like oh yeah, I got this Picasso.
Yeah.
You want to buy it?
Yeah, exactly. Everything's subjective. Like the price of things is very subjective. Like what people say something is worth is kind of like.
Well, that's what value is.
Yeah, value in itself is just weird.
It's what somebody is willing to pay for it. That's all value.
And right now, I feel like there's this really big push on values being diminished. Did you notice that? Like gold goes up when the dollar bill goes down. I don't know the correlation to that or why that is like that. But it seems like there's a correlation.
So the way you said that, you're not separating gold and money, dollar bills as different assets. Gold is an asset that is denominated in U.S. dollars. They're not the same thing. So yeah, the value of U.S. dollar goes down, then the value of gold will go up in U.S. dollar terms because the value of the U.S. dollar has gone down. So the denominated amount is going to be more. The denominated amount of U.S. dollars that the gold is supposedly valued at is going to be higher in this inflated U.S. dollar term. But like in Bitcoin term, it will not be.
That's very weird, right? Like,
well, it's just different assets. Gold is an asset. The U.S. dollar is an asset. Bitcoin is an asset. They're all different.
It's kind of weird how those can get together and make like diversification for people to make portfolios, which is another thing that kind of makes it weird to me. Like, okay, so your portfolio is basically an accumulation of all of these things together, right?
I mean, yeah.
So
equities, real estate.
Now, are those numbers able to be fudged as far as portfolios go? Like if I, let's say I got into one of these businesses, but then I sold it immediately, does that go on the portfolio?
I mean, technically,
so like, let's just say that like, okay, let's say you had $1 billion, right? And I don't have anything, like nothing, $0.
Yeah.
But let's say you run some stuff through my portfolio, like the same day, like one day. We're only doing business for one day, but in one day you bought and sold, let's say 10 houses. Okay, you bought 10 paintings and you bought 10 properties. all in the same day through my portfolio, would that make me like, is can numbers be fudged to where it now feels like I'm super wealthy, like because I had these properties? Like, you see what I mean?
I mean,
Am I saying that
well,
wrong? Because that's a weird one.
so you're talking about liquidity.
Liquidity, right? Like, so if
And liquidity, like of real estate, say,
mm-hmm.
it's not very liquid, so you wouldn't be able to access the value so quickly, you know. But Bitcoin, you would. It is immediate. U.S. dollar, you would. You know, if you had a bunch of U.S. dollar in a savings account or something,
So
you'd be able to access it.
do those things add interest? Do they gather interest just by having them? Like,
Well, I mean, the inflation rate far exceeds any interest you get off of the bank. So your buying power with your dollar is going down a lot more than
I'm kind of wondering what would be the most interest you could possibly get. Is it like life insurance, or do you think that it's like Bitcoin or one of these?
what are you referring to?
Like, okay, let's say I have $1 million, right? And I put $1 million on property. Um, will it grow in interest? Like if I had $1 million and I put it into a bank, you're gonna get what, 3 point, like
No,
it's like really low, but you'll get some kind of interest over.
less than 1%.
What is it?
Less than 1%.
Yeah, which is that's so ridiculous, right? Like, I don't
Yeah, that's
understand
the
how that.
whole.
I don't
That's
understand
the
how
whole
they're able
thing.
to use your they're able to use your $1 million that you put into the
Right,
bank, and they can
right.
use it for capital to go do
That's
whatever
called
the.
fractional reserve banking.
Okay, so
They
how,
don't have to keep your $1 million.
right,
They can loan it out to someone
exactly,
that wants to borrow $1 million
right.
and pay interest on that. So that's what the banking system is.
So
Fractional reserve.
when did they get the option to be able to make it so low? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
A fractional reserve.
yeah, is there like
It
a
was like it became 10% in like the 90s or something, and then in like 2020 we made it 0%
Jesus Christ?
because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
So
which
banks didn't need to hold any reserves.
which makes no sense to me, because it's like I could understand during a pandemic you were, you
Well,
usury
when the
is a
money's
bad thing, but
fake, when the money's fake and printed out of thin air,
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, I
they
can see where
shouldn't
that
be
could be.
expected
They shouldn't be allowed to
to
make
hold.
money off of, yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to be able to make money off of invisible money. Like, it just makes no
But
sense.
they do,
But
though.
they
That's
do.
the whole. That's the whole crux
So
of
did you see the
corrupt fractional reserve banking.
did you see the interviews with that one guy, Terrence Howard?
No.
So you know who Terrence Howard is, right? The actor.
No.
Um, did you watch the first Iron Man movie?
I did.
So the guy who plays Rhodey, the War Machine. That,
Okay, that guy. Yeah.
yeah, that was Terrence Howard. So
Nice.
he is actually like one of the smartest dudes on our planet, which is terrifying.
Nice.
Like, no, I mean, I'm being like deadly serious. This guy is like a next level. He's like ridiculous. He's got like I want to say like 9 or 10, maybe more. I don't know. It's like a bunch of patents that he owns for technologies that we use today. Like, and if had he just been an inventor, everybody would like love and adore him, but because he was an actor, everybody takes him like, oh, you see what I mean? Like they look at him like, oh, you can't do this because you're an actor. Like nobody wants to
Yeah.
take him serious. But it's like, dude, he owns like I want to say 90 patents. It might not be 90, but I might be over exaggerating. But it's a lot of patents. Like, you know the AR systems that people are using right now, like the virtual reality.
Okay. Augmented
Yeah,
reality.
yeah. He created that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it gets even worse. Like he's done like a bunch of stuff like on like patents towards like mathematical patents that just are insane. Like I mean stuff you just wouldn't even think about. Like what in the absolute hell, like he made this claim. The reason why I brought him up was because it was pretty awesome. He was like he made this claim that the current way that we do math is incorrect. So like he says that 1 times 1 should never be 1. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's a mathematical fallacy. So like,
wow,
it makes sense. Like if I give you $1 and I times it, which should be multiplication, right? Which means to multiply this, and I give you another $1, how does it become 1?
Mm-hmm.
This is the issue that we're having with the banking systems, because from 0 to 1, like when they use 0, they times it by whatever the number is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it's always 0. Okay. Makes no sense. So like if I give you $1, okay, you have $1 in your hand, and then I times it by 0, which means I multiply it by nothing. Technically, you should still have $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, math doesn't work that way. So, like, if I give you $1 and I times it by 0, it becomes 0. Like, make that make sense.
Yeah.
So from 0 to 1,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. So, like, both of those multiplication tables don't make any sense. So it should start from 2. So 2 should be the number that it should start from, and 0 should be 10, I guess. It would be the only logical way to use that. But I don't know. It's weird. It was really weird, and it broke my mind when I heard it. I was like, dude, that's correct. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how they're getting away with that. That doesn't make any sense, but yeah, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's making all kinds of patents and stuff. Like, it's crazy, dude. You've got to look into him. It's really interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what that will mean for money or monetary. Like, I don't really understand. Like, we were taught financial parts incorrect here where I'm at.
Yeah, well, that's called indoctrination.
Yeah, we were indoctrinated into some bullshit is what it was. We didn't get taught any of this cool stuff. Like, I don't know how to do a mortgage on a house. I don't know how to, like, you know, take care of an IRA, you know, Rothschild, whatever thing. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's all financial literacy.
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
Take steps, and you gotta expand your mind and learn about these.
I mean, now I understand a few of them, but it's like even now I'm still like a baby crawling in the dark. I don't have a freaking clue.
Did you try out that thing I sent you, that generative AI unleashed?
I did Gemini. I downloaded Gemini, and I was looking around on it, and I thought that was really interesting. Like, I liked it. It had some really cool features, but it has this one feature where you can say stop listening, and it's supposed to stop listening, but just in the aspect that it has a stop listening means that it's still listening. You know what I mean? And nobody, I guess, caught that, but I caught that. I'm weird like that. So yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. It was like, oh yeah, AI, please stop listening, and it shuts off, and it's like, okay, AI, can you listen in? And then it'll shut back on. And I'm like, that means that it was
Oh,
listening the whole time. It gives you like a
well,
fake
try
sense
that.
of it
Try
give
that unleash.chat. It
unleash.chat.
yeah.
I will give that one a try. I think that AI has its place. I feel like it's scary,
It
but it's one of those things that I think is going to it's either going to help us or it's going to kill us. One of the two. So, you know.
well, the people that know about it are gonna advance with it, and the genie's out of the bottle. It ain't going back
It
in.
ain't going back in. So that's my
So you
point
might as
too.
well get to know it and
I'm
get
like,
to know
okay,
how to
so
use it.
there's this pin that they have, right? It's like an AI pin that you pin it to your shirt,
Oh,
and it's supposed to like do all of the things that AI can do for you. Like you can ask it questions. Like it's not like having a smartphone. It's a little different. It
uh,
it can still do all of the things that a smartphone does because you are paying for a subscription and you do pay like monthly. So it's like it can still make phone calls and it can do like messages, but it doesn't have like the apps like what a smartphone does. And the pen
yeah.
and it does this like really cool thing like you put your hand out in front of you and the pen shines light onto your hand and you can read your
Mm,
hand like as if it's like a tablet.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's like really cool. So one of the neat features that I really liked about it was that you could be speaking with somebody who speaks a different language and the pen will translate right onto your hand.
Oh, okay.
Like as if you're reading subtitles for this person. Like that is cool. Like let's go. I need that.
Yeah,
I want that just for that feature. I'm like, yeah,
for
I'm going to go get some Chinese food right after that. like I hear you
sure.
back there. What are you saying? Oh, pissing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oh, okay. I see what's
get,
going on.
get to know, the AI tools, and generative AI is really an incredible invention. And
It kind of makes
I,
me
I,
wonder, do you think people can use it for monetary? Like as far as, hey,
what do you?
AI, make me $1 million out of my $1 million? Like, can it do that?
Well, there's definitely, you know, business plans. It can
Just
help you create a business plan.
okay.
I don't know if it can like make you actual money, but it can help you write a business plan, give you suggestions on how to make a business better, how to more better market a business. It'll like give you suggestions. You just type in how can generative AI help my business and
Okay.
whatever business you're in.
I have to give that a try. I'm not really I've seen a lot of like interesting stuff on the safety features that go into the AI. And I think that that's a big that's one thing I want to do a podcast about myself actually is how those safety features are put into like so as far as me, like myself I only know the three laws, you know what I mean, from like movies and stuff. And
Oh,
AI kind of has went further than that now. So like I don't think that they even have the three laws. Like I think that it kind of feels like it's like the wild wild west. You know what I mean with AI. Like
yeah, well, it is.
yeah, you basically have all
That's why
these
you got to know it now and learn how to use it,
yeah.
or else you'll get left behind in a sense.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think that part's already
Yeah, I mean, I think you would really enjoy playing around with it.
I have been asking it little questions and I'm like I said, I'm curious about the answers that it's giving me as far as uh like I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? Like that's what I do. Like I'm always like thinking about,
Yeah,
the next thing, like what causes this to be what it is? Like what is making this um like why are people using this system? Like is there a reason that they're using this system? Do they believe that this system is actually a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like there's a lot of parts to this that are moving, and I don't think that people are. I don't know if they're ready for it or if they're just.
Wow.
I don't quite know where it sits in the grand scheme of things. Like, do you think that AI will help us to achieve sentience? Like, do you think it will achieve sentience? Do you think like
Well, it's definitely, a question that, no one can answer, and we can just use the AI tools that we have at our disposal and just hope for the best and hope there aren't bad actors that
what is your
turn into
right
bad.
right now, what is your best use for AI?
Well, like I said, I can't use my hand,
Right.
so I can't really use AI. But if, I had to say one, it would be helping businesses.
Wait,
That would be the,
what do you mean you can't use AI? It's voice activated.
I mean, not for me.
Why?
I just have a phone.
I mean, you can have it on your phone though, right?
Not really. What? Which one?
I have Gemini on my phone right now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Like I just said its name
Well,
and it just activated.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like it's like you can have Gemini on your phone and it takes over your Google. Well, at least it did
So you
mine.
just download an app.
Yeah, it was just literally took me 10 seconds. I downloaded
Not.
Gemini and it took over. And now anytime I say like, "Hey Google," it pops up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it anything I want it to do, it just pops up and I say do it and it does it. Like
Oh, that's cool. Okay. So I could replace Siri.
yeah, yeah, and it literally says you can even call me Siri and it'll still activate it just the same, but it'll be Gemini.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. I
So
was like,
just download the app.
yep, that's the one that I have right now, and
Cool.
like it is listening right this second. Uh, Gemini, stop listening. Stop listening, and it stopped listening. So like I don't know if you guys can
Cool.
see this, but start listening. Gemini, start listening. And now it's listening.
Wow.
I thought that was neat. Is a little weird thing. Open email 15
Wow.
and it opened my email. So just that
Nice.
fast, it did exactly what I asked it to do. It's it's a good system. I find it to be like intrusive as all get out, but I
Oh,
like it. I
it,
choose for it to be intrusive. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's one of those things like if you don't mind it being intrusive, then it's amazing. But if you are
Uh,
one of those people that's like cuz I'm kind of one of those people that's like I don't want this spying on me, but
yeah.
I'm not, I don't really care. It's not like I'm like doing anything with it. So
Mm.
it's like I'm breaking the bread, you know what I mean? I'm making nukes like in my bedroom. Like nah, like I'm not doing anything cool with it. So
Mm.
I'm fine with it spying on me. So I have it on
Yeah.
I have it on my phone and on my tablet. So
Oh, okay.
But I do have a couple of books that I'm working on. Like I'm really big on books, and
Yeah, um
I have heard people
that's
say
one
that
of
it
the
can help
things.
you. Yeah, I have heard people say
Yep.
it can help you write your book. So I'm kind of curious on that. But I'd much rather my friends come together and like we work on a book together. You know, I don't know.
No, I mean my friend's freaking cracking a book out and should be released before the summer.
Oh, that's really cool.
Been working on it like crazy.
I have been working on mine since a little after um, the pandemic started, and
Nice.
I am on pretty much the final chapters. Like I've got
Nice.
I've got I even got the final chapters pretty much done. I'm just kind of like looking to see if it's like I could put it out right now, and I've already been in talks with Amazon because Amazon does this weird thing for
Yep.
books. And they were going to help me, and they have been hounding me nonstop about my book once I talked to them about it. So,
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're really on it. Like they really do want you to publish your book. Like they won't
Yeah.
stop. Like, hey, how's it coming with that book? I'm like, I'm nowhere near finished yet. Hey,
Uh,
just want to check on you. How's it going with that book?
well, the cover art is really important.
Yes, I do not have my cover art. I would give you a preview of it, but I'm not completely done with it yet, so I don't
Yeah,
want to ruin it.
whenever.
But as soon as I do, I will do a podcast on it,
Good.
and it will be kind of cool. So we will see.
Sounds good.
But I'm gonna call it a wrap, and
Cool.
I definitely
Well, it's
want you
really
back on the podcast again. Um,
nice.
we just did an hour and 37 minutes. That was a quick one. So
I can definitely be done in the future, and
yeah,
it was a
absolutely.
lot of fun and great conversation, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
We went over a lot of stuff.
yeah, we'll talk again real soon.
Absolutely, man.
All right, Mike. Have a good one.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Peace.
And with that, we are done for the day.
Sounds good. That came out awesome. So let's is that gonna be on YouTube?
Absolutely.
What is it under?
It will be under Mike Booth or the higher frequency. So
Okay, but I can just say Mike Booth.
yep.
Okay, perfect. You have a channel.
Yep. The higher frequency.
Sounds good, dude. Get